Hello world and welcome to the cinderxblocks Sims 4 YouTube channel. You are watching my first ever official speed build for the Sims 4. Just an FYI, I currently have 3 packs installed aside from the base game. So I have Paranormal stuff, I have Seasons, and I have Snowy Escape. So any items and swatches, any floors, walls, etc., all of that will be from those 3 packs exclusively. So I will also always have in the description of my videos all packs that I have installed, so then you know whether or not the build will be compatible with the packs that you have installed. So that will always be in the description. It'll always be updated as I get more packs, but older videos will stay the same. So if you are watching this in the future, you will know if you have those 3 packs that this build will work perfectly for you. But yeah, so this is a build in 641 and I can't read it on my little thumbnail here, but it is up in the left hand corner in the world that comes with Snowy Escape. It is a pseudo Japanese inspired minimalist build, I would say. It's a 1 bathroom 2 bedroom house. It could easily be changed to 2 bathrooms, 1 bedroom. You could split the 2 bedrooms. You could put a second bed, a toddler bed. You could do many things in this house because it's relatively open and there's not so much large items. So you could easily rework the inside of the house, change where the rooms are, anything like that. I think the shell can easily be altered to fit the needs of what your gameplay is. But if you have a family of 2 Sims looking to start a family, or 1 Sim looking to start a family, this is a perfect family home. There's not a lot of activities and skill-based items, just because they were not really fitting with the vibe of what I was going for. But of course, everyone has their own style of gameplay, so any of those items, I'm sure you could replace something that's there, or just, you know, pop it down. There's plenty of space outside. I am not opposed to ever just popping a random activity outside, even if it's more of a quote-unquote indoor activity. It's totally fine with me, so do what you want with the build. But it's as is a 2 bedroom 1 bathroom house. But yeah, so the outside, we went very wood tones. You'll see as it moves through the outside, all of the swatches are the 1 brown yellow swatch of the Snowy Escape stuff, which is the sort of lighter wood tone swatch, which I am absolutely obsessed with every single item that has those wood tone swatches where you can really see like the wood grain. Absolutely obsessed. I hope that the Sims team continues that in the future with items, because that just adds such a nice like 3-dimensional aspect to those items and wallpapers, etc. Especially the steps. Absolutely amazing. I'm so surprised that they did not have a stair like this, unless in a pack that I have not had in the past has stairs like this. I apologize, but I've personally not seen the steps that have this kind of swatch, so I'm absolutely obsessed. But yeah, so this is the outside. I'm just trying to add a little flourish here and there. I always think about adding in fireplaces into my builds, but unfortunately most of the time I can never really figure it out. I have in the past just added random chimneys here and there without even having a fireplace, just so that on the outside it looks like it has a chimney. But recently I've just been wanting to include fireplaces actually, and then also a chimney of course, and have it line up, because nothing to me is more weird than a fireplace on one side of the room but then the chimney is actually on the other side of the house. It just doesn't really make sense. So I always prefer when I do have a chimney and a fireplace that they do line up, and they're also the right size, because there's those 1 square versus 2 square fireplaces that are out there. But yeah, anyway, so there's not a fireplace or a chimney in this build, but definitely always something that I consider. But yeah, so now we're just working on the little front porch area. Pretty plain. I don't add like too much stuff on the outside, as this is again a relatively minimalist build, so I always just add some kind of plants, some kind of greenery onto the outside. I love having the chess table outside. I just think it makes no sense to have a full chess table inside somewhere inside the house. Doesn't really make sense to me unless it's out up on a balcony or something. I'm just surprised that The Sims hasn't added an actual just chess chessboard, just standalone that you could just pop on a table somewhere or something, so you can always just make your own chess tables. I'm surprised that they haven't done that yet, but maybe just the meshes or whatever to make items is not really allowing for that, but who knows at this point. But yeah, so yeah, I added some trees. There's some little trees on the outside. The one here, the red one that you're seeing, that was actually there on this lot already. If you don't bulldoze the lot, it's basically the exact same thing with that little square. I just added some grass, and then there's a different, that green tree in the backyard that you saw me put up. That tree is absolutely stunning, so I did want to add that a little bit just because there is that L-shaped. The build is L-shaped, so I wanted to have just something in that kind of open area. But yeah, so now we're on to the inside. So I wanted to absolutely utilize some platforms here. I love the original build that's on this lot. The downstairs is absolutely gorgeous. Props to whoever designed that. And the way that the platforms work in that original build are just absolutely gorgeous. So I wanted to emulate that. But you'll see as we move forward and we get to working on the living space that it was a little tedious and difficult to figure out exactly how I wanted the platforms to work, especially with the shape of the room. I was having a lot of difficulty, but you'll see that as we move forward. So here we are on the kitchen. As I'm one with the majority that these counters are absolutely stunning. The way that both shelves underneath the top counter have slots that you can place different clutter items is absolutely brilliant. One downside, which I also feel the same way about half walls, is that when you're playing and your sim eats something or whatever and they put it down, like they'll put it on a half wall, especially if you have one of those higher half walls and you don't always see that the plate's there, especially if it's spoiled. So they're getting like weird moodlets and stuff just because there's some spoiled food somewhere, but it's up on some high half wall and they can't even get to it, but somehow they were able to get the plates up there. It doesn't really make sense. And it's kind of a similar issue to the counters from Snowy Escape, just because there is a slot that's like one back in the counter, so it's closer to the wall. So obviously it's much harder to see any items that your sim might put there. So, and not everyone plays like straight on, with their camera, so obviously it might be hard to do that. So that's why I always catch myself kind of just watching, like when my sim's holding something, just watching, keeping an eye if they put it down or whatnot, just so I know where they put it. But yeah, so now we're on to the sort of the main dining and living area. So as you saw just now, I did remove that center area of platform just because it was not working, and just the shape of the living room was just so difficult. So I did find this bookcase from Snowy Escape, and I was just obsessed, and I just needed to have that included in my living room. But as you're seeing, I'm having a lot of trouble figuring out how to fit it in to be able to make it look nice, just because I also really loved that little coffee table from Paranormal stuff, so I just wanted to have that included as well. And it was just giving me such a heartache or such a headache trying to figure out how to work this little area, which is odd because usually living rooms are super easy for me to do, but for whatever reason I was just having so much trouble just because of that bookcase and trying to figure out the best way for it to fit. But eventually we did get there. That is the end of it. I almost never, or I would never, put a TV just on a coffee table like this, but for whatever reason it fit when I plopped it down, and I just loved the way that it looked. It also just gives like a minimalist vibe. It's like kind of just like the sim in my mind could just move the TV, like it's a portable small TV, so someone just like popped it down there to plug it in to watch, but if they needed it they could put it somewhere else. I wish that it would fit on the bookcase and slot in there. I could always raise it up, but then if the TV breaks or whatever, I don't know, the Sims can't get to it because it's not on a surface. But yeah, so now we're back in the kitchen. We're just doing some cluttering and stuff, just putting some different things around. But as I mentioned, this is a relatively minimalist build, so there's not super clutter anywhere. There's some surfaces that just don't even have anything on them, which I'm totally fine with. but I know some people prefer more, I mean, I typically myself prefer much more cluttered builds. I love small spaces full of crap. It's one of my favorite parts of building is cluttering spaces, and we have a lot of fun with that. So yeah, now we're back into the bathroom area. So there is the 1-2 square room, as you saw, for the toilet, and then the shower and sink in the other side. You would have to figure out how to fit a bathtub in here. You could easily fit it. I'm sure you could bb.move objects and push things into the wall, put a bathtub or a shower in there, figure it out. I just like the way that it looked with the wall shower. Obviously, if you had cats and dogs, you have a dog that needs to get washed or a baby that needs to get bathed, you would obviously have to figure out some way to fit a bathtub into there. But it is a 4x4, so I'm sure y'all can figure it out how to fit it in there. But yeah, now we're just, again, back to the plants, placing them around. I love these little alcove windows, kind of bay windows, especially right behind the sink in the kitchen, and I love just cluttering those up. Again, with the minimalist vibe, we only placed the one plant there, but yeah, I just love the way that looks. I think anything that just adds kind of a three-dimensional effect to the build is just absolutely gorgeous in my mind, so I'm definitely one for that. But yeah, now we're just adding the little things, little items here and there, keeping it pretty relatively clean. Obviously, as you can see, there's a light wood tone theme going on in terms of the color story, and that's just because I think that adds to the minimalist vibe. I'm not sure why, but something about just light tones, light wood tones, like light tans, yellows, oranges, all of that just kind of adds to a minimalist feel, because even the living room is relatively cluttered compared to the rest of the downstairs, but it just looks more spacious because of the light tones. Yeah, but now here we are, we're on the upstairs working on the 2 bedrooms. I do absolutely love this wallpaper that came with Paranormal stuff. My one gripe with it is that I think some of the swatches, or it's missing like 1 or 2 kind of lighter tone swatches. I wish there was more of a tan swatch. Some of them are super bright as well, like the red, the yellow, which is awesome. I mean, it's perfect for kids' rooms. It would be gorgeous in like a kind of Alabama style like mansion. That would be pretty sick, or like a farmhouse. I'm sure that would be absolutely gorgeous. I just really wanted to use it in this room, but I think I am pretty sure that I do change the color of the walls, but I do keep the same wallpaper. Another gripe was with, if you noticed, I did have to raise up that one candle object to put onto the bedside table. So that is kind of a miss for me in terms of the Snowy Escape stuff. As you might have just noticed, I was trying to put some bedside lamps onto the tables, but none of them were slotting in. Even the very small ones were not slotting in. So I ended up going with just the square wall lights, and I popped those in the hallway outside and in both bedrooms. So yeah, the way that I like to build, as you might have noticed, is I like to just find the items that I want to use first, place them down, and then go back and find swatches for them that fit the best. I feel like it's just easier. It's probably harder and more tedious to do it that way than just to find the swatches as I go, but for whatever reason, I tend to just place down items. I think that it is faster for me, just because a lot of the items, especially as you play more and more, this is maybe I think this is the 3rd time that I've played with the Snowy Escape stuff. So I'm not super familiar, but obviously as I get more and more familiar with stuff, I know which swatches look the best, so I know when I'm placing it what color I want it to be and what tones and stuff. And in terms of the way that I think about it, when I am building, I don't typically have any basis for how I want something to look until I'm there. In terms of planning, most of my builds are inspired by the outside. So most of the time, if I have any kind of inclination to how I want any aspect of the build to look, it's usually the outside, the shape, The roofing is a big one, especially in terms of getting real world inspiration. I feel like I'm most inspired by roofing in the seeing different roofing out and about in the world. Anyway, so yeah, roofing is definitely one of the biggest real world inspirations for me. Just because there's so many cool roof things. I wish I knew her name, but there's the one YouTuber that does those incredible basically like roof-based builds where she makes these just insanely incredible like shapes and stuff, just absolutely gorgeous. I don't know how people are that good with building in The Sims, but it's incredible. But yeah, but here we are onto the final little section. So we're onto the screenshots and the screen vids and stuff. So this is the house. It's absolutely gorgeous. But yes, so my name is cinderxblocks. You can feel free to find all my links in the description below. If you liked what you've seen here today, you can like, comment, and make sure you subscribe for more content from me. But in the meantime, enjoy this little outro with my Sim Jordan just enjoying her new home in the world in Snowyscape, because I still don't know what it's called. But thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you all have an amazing day.